you don't know, Jen Wilner, co-founder of Business Connects, CEO of Secretary Central, marketing support services and virtual assistant services. And you guys know this thing called a hashtag? Looks like a pound sign. It was on our phones when we were kids, right? We had that, all the numbers, and then that pound sign. Like, what did we use it for then?
Tic-tac-toe.
I have no idea. And then and the asterisk. So I still don't know what you use the asterisk for, except for dialing extensions.
Storage 7?
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Star 6, yeah.
Star 6,
Yeah, all right. Exactly. Thank you. So hashtags, otherwise known as the pound sign and anything else you want to call them, tic-tac-toe board, are very, very important for your social media. The rules, as you guys know, it is exhausting. The rules for social media are constantly changing. The hashtags help you get noticed. So if you are, as we say, the coffee house, okay, so does anybody currently use hashtags in their social media? Okay, fantastic. Do you have specific hashtags that you use?
Yes.
Okay. Is anybody researching their hashtags to make sure they're using what they're using?
Well, if by research you mean it has over 1 million and I click on it, then that's my research.
Okay.
I go by like post pay and things like that.
Oh, you mean as you're typing it? And
Yeah,
then
it says
showing
this
it?
many posts, and I'm like, all right, well, somebody's got to be following it if it's that many. So.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So we've got like a split yes, no, a little bit of deer in the headlights. That's okay. So I've got 15 pages of notes for you. I will very happily share with you, but I did not want to do the Killer Tree program.
You need more pens.
Right, you have notepads, right?
Need more.
Need more? All right,
You
I
got
have
15
more.
pages of
Tell your
notes.
friends. Okay,
Right, smaller.
so on social media, the hashtag serves as an indication for users and the algorithm that a piece of content relates to a specific topic or category, or that it belongs to a category. So the hashtag first started in 2007 by Chris Messina, when web marketing specialist walked into Twitter's offices with an idea, and because of the platform's brevity, he suggested the company start using the pound symbol to group related tweets together. So that's where it first started.
Sorry to interrupt you. Is it only for Twitter though? Or is it for
That's
everybody?
how it started on
Okay,
Twitter.
so
It started. So that was the first ever use of a hashtag. 2007 by Chris Messina for Twitter. So they're not just for Twitter. Hashtag basics. 240 characters now. Can't shut up. They will always start with the hashtag symbol, but they won't work if you use spaces, punctuation, or other symbols. So if you're using a hashtag at the end of the sentence, make sure there's a space before your period or other punctuation mark. Or just don't use it. Don't bother. Make sure your accounts are public. Private accounts that use hashtags, you're not going to get any reach. So if you're like private on Instagram, don't bother. Otherwise, the hashtag content you write won't be seen by any non-followers. Please don't string too many words together. The best hashtags tend to be relatively short and easy to remember. Hashtag Business Connects. Hashtag Business Connects NJ. Coffee and conversation. I know a few people that use something like hashtag Jane likes long tail hashtags that make no sense. Okay, so that's fun, but it does absolutely nothing for you. Exactly. The world needs more laughter. Limit the number of hashtags you use. More isn't always better. It actually looks spammy.
One thing to add to that, sometimes you can put emojis in the hashtag, but make sure it's one that already exists and has people following it.
Yes.
Don't just add emojis because it's fun looking, but some of them already have it in there.
Yeah, I just want to say some platforms actually limit you. I think on
Yes.
Instagram there's 30, on YouTube there's 15.
Yep, and this is all changing.
If you put more, it won't even go through, and then you got to start again.
Yes,
So
exactly. Why to use them? Including hashtags means you're taking part in the conversation happening on that platform. Most importantly, it makes your post visible in that conversation. That can lead to greater engagement, boosting your brand's social media engagement through likes, shares, comments, and new followers. Creating a branded hashtag can be an effective way to promote your business and drive conversations. So, travel to planning with Janet. You have a branded hashtag?
From the Jennifer mortgage guy.
Okay, great. Using your company name in a hashtag is branded. So Mike has hashtag Mike Aniceto. Mike also uses, I believe, Inspire. His company name is branded because that's his company. Nobody else would be using that. Like, it doesn't make sense. Just make sure that if you're doing something like that, that first of all, nobody else is doing it. So you have to search. You have to search.
That's what I was getting at. Is there, like, you have to look up your business in order to form your business name. Normally, you have to go to the state and do all that stuff to make sure there's nobody else is using that.
You can use any hashtag.
So if you do it, the only problem is if somebody else happens to be doing that same thing.
You can just search for that hashtag before you start using it, and then it'll pop up with anything that's been tagged with that hashtag, and you can see if there's anything like crazy that you don't want to be part of your hashtag,
Right.
or if you want to alter it slightly so that you are alone in that
Right.
hashtag.
So there are, let's say that you filed your LLC and you have an acronym for your company, and you're like, ooh, I want to use this acronym to promote my company, but I want to use, with a hashtag. So as Jake said, researching that, but also at the same time, making sure that you have maybe like 2 of it. So if you have Royal Readers Bookstore, if there's anybody else that has that same name by chance somewhere else in the world, Jake wants to have a backup of Royal Readers Bookstore LLC maybe, or something that supports his brand name, because there are people where we may think, wow, in the US, this is my company and nobody else in the US has this. But just because you filed an LLC in the US doesn't mean somebody in England didn't use that name. So they may be using that hashtag. So depending on where your search is, you want to really protect your brand identity and where it's getting found and what verbiage is being used. So there are social media listening tools that you can use for that. So we're going to get to that. So social issues. So if you're doing events and things like that, so June is Pride Month. Even though June is ending, don't drop the pride flag. Keep going. For example, now this was from the beginning of the month, a hashtag, each for equal, and IWD 2020 were used across social media platforms, including LinkedIn, on International Women's Day. So there were multiple. Some people use hashtag IWD, but IWD 2020 is for any post that was used during 2020. So we're referring to 2020 as opposed to 2021 because obviously the data for 2021 isn't complete right now. Each for Equal, as of June, had 2,795,000 followers on this one particular platform. This was on Instagram. So by using these trending hashtags and ones that are supporting social issues, you want to follow them, which is why we say, follow hashtag businessconnects, hashtag businessconnectsnj.
Can you revise a hashtag?
Your own hashtag, not.
So like if you put something out there under hashtag and then like you said 2020, that one.
Oh, yeah.
Can you
It's
go
unique
in
to
and stuff
each
that you
post.
might have put in, right? So can you go back and
Yeah, you can
find
change
that
the
and then
hashtag.
change it to 2020?
You can, but
so
keep
that it
in
goes
mind, if you put something out there, let's say specifically you went on Instagram and you did hashtag IWD 2020, and then you go back and edit that post, people that saw it already saw it, but if you want to get the data for your post, you're now messing up with your data for when you use that hashtag for 2020. So if you want to change it for 2021, that's a different story.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of if you want to get into, like,
No.
you have to just issue a new hashtag to match whatever hashtag you want to kind of be part of.
Yeah,
Makes
and
sense.
it's per post too. So the one that you put on a post a month ago, you can put a completely different hashtag
Just
on.
going to redo it is better than
you
trying to
just add,
rehash
You
it.
add them separately each
Absolutely.
time.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And just a note on the following hashtags. Most people don't understand that completely. It's more of an Instagram thing, I would say, right?
It's also on LinkedIn now.
LinkedIn too. But that's like following that specific hashtag. So if you're looking to network with realtors or something like that, if you will follow the hashtag RealtorNJ, right? Anyone who posts with a hashtag RealtorNJ is going to pop up in your feed because that hashtag was used, right? So you'll see different people who are realtors posting RealtorNJ, and you can link up with them and message them, and you'll have all that information there. So as opposed to finding every realtor's profile on Instagram and following them individually, you follow what's relevant to you, and then you can find people through the hashtag.
And then if you're following the hashtag itself will come up on Instagram of anyone. So when we follow hashtag EdisonNJ, anybody who uses the hashtag EdisonNJ on Instagram and LinkedIn for me comes up in my newsfeed. So then I see them, which is good because I know they're interested in Edison and hopefully they're interested in joining us.
Which is why you get more interaction when you put a hashtag, because whoever's following that, now they're seeing your post, because if they follow that hashtag and you posted it, ta-da, here's your post.
Right. So, Janet, you'll be pleased to know that if you use hashtag travel on your Instagram posts, someone who follows that hashtag will see your post in their recent feeds. You might gain some new followers. So when this was written, the hashtag travel on Instagram had 377,208,811 posts. Okay, that's a big number. Now that's internationally, obviously. But then when you want to close in that demographic and you're adding hashtag your business and your location and your company name, et cetera, then you're like, oh, who's that? Click, oh, Travel Planet with Janet. What's that all about? Disclosing sponsored partnerships. So you want to make sure that when working with brands and influencers have to let their audiences know that a piece of content is sponsored. So you'll see on social media something comes up as a sponsored post. Those things are really good to learn by, how big companies are using social media and looking at those hashtags. And if you don't disclose that, you have a problem with the FTC. Nobody wants that problem. Popular hashtags of 2021. The most popular hashtags out there aren't necessarily the best hashtags. Okay. Popular kid in school wasn't necessarily the best or nicest or kindest kid in school. For example, the hashtag follow me has more than 575 million posts on Instagram. Hashtags that solicit likes don't engage your followers and don't add any meaning to your social media post. Just because it's popular doesn't mean you need to be using it. And we're talking about business. People post things that are fun, but this is about business. So, in a fun way for your business, and Janet is a great example of this, hashtag Throwback Thursday or Flashback Friday or other daily hashtags can be fun ways for your brand to join a wider social media conversation. As of June 2021, some of the most popular Instagram hashtags of all time include hashtag love, 2.1 billion posts, Instagood, fashion, photo of the day, photography, beautiful, Instagram, pic of the day, nature, happy. I mean, the numbers are like outrageous. On LinkedIn, popular hashtags include hashtag leadership and hashtag productivity. So you can imagine we're doing hashtag productivity and then hashtag productivity expert team would do for you. Okay, 6 best ways to find the best hashtags. Monitoring your social media influencers and competitors. Doing competitive analysis on social media. There are a couple apps that you can, well, not really apps, they're Chrome websites and sometimes like Chrome plugins. Thank you, Jake. Hashtagify.me is one that helps you find the best Twitter or Instagram hashtags for your brand. I particularly like RightTag, RITETAG. Lets you type in your social media caption into the text bar and upload the photo of your pair. RightTag generates trending hashtag suggestions based on your content.
Now, are these websites? Right.
Some of them are websites, some of them are like plugins. You'll see the best hashtags to get your post seen immediately, as well as hashtags to get your post seen over time. When you click on Get Report for detailed analysis on the hashtags it displays. So, I mean, there's like a lot of, a lot of data. And then I could put you to sleep with some of that stuff. A lot of sleep. Yeah. Hootsuite lets you brand your search terms to discover which hashtags are best for all the social networks it uses. Thank you, Hootsuite, for compiling this report. Finding related hashtags. If you already have a good grasp of which hashtags are working well for your brand, consider using related hashtags. So on Instagram, when you go to do your post, the related hashtags show up just above top and recent tags when you're in the Explore section. So if you're not going to use like RightTag or Hashtagify, here is hashtag trouble. 299 million posts. Crazy. Let's talk about LinkedIn. Okay. So on LinkedIn, you can find more hashtag recommendations after clicking on a hashtag, choosing the Discover More Hashtags buttons after clicking on the ellipsis. For example, marketing. Jake, you want to read that number?
19,928,954.
And then you can follow it. So imagine this is your hashtag, and you're working on it, on building your brand exposure, then people can follow it. You can discover new hashtags. So this basically is showing you how to discover new hashtags or manage your manager. So on the LinkedIn side, keep track of the hashtags you've used in past posts, analyze them. Now, you guys know I love Google Keep. We have an ongoing, you can be on your little mini computer, smartphone, and open it. And if you have an ongoing list of hashtags that you like to use, what's really cool, you can just save them in there and then copy paste and post it on your post. Some people like to do that and then go back and research them so they don't forget to do the hashtags. When you're like on the fly, you go to an event or something, and then they'll go back and go, oh, wait a second. Oh, that's not good. Delete. It's social media, and the reason why it's on these phones where we have these great cameras is so that we're using it and that we're like words. Like doing it on the fly.
Impromptu?
Yes, impromptu about this stuff, and not everything is planned. So be a little spontaneous and take that picture of, you're like, oh wow, that's really cool. Click, and post it. When you're going to events and stuff like that, you're a small business owner, and you see other people getting together, and you're like, oh, that's a cool place. Ooh, click, post it. You can always go back and fix it.
And if there's other people, want to make sure that you tag them in the
Yes,
pictures and
please
posts
tag
too,
them.
because then you'll get their followers seeing your stuff.
Exactly. please don't tag people in posts if they weren't in the post. Please don't just tag people on LinkedIn if they weren't there, if they weren't part of the conversation, just because you're looking to get more exposure. You can send that post to them and ask them to comment on it. But like, there's a you weren't at the party. You weren't at the party. You shouldn't be tagged in it. I just think it's something. Okay, so we have Twitter as of June 14th. Here are the numbers. Hashtags on Twitter, 1 to 2. Hashtags on Facebook. Oh, my social media people are gonna be sad. 1 to 2.
1 to 2.
It went like Instagram, 5 to 10.
Oh, that's down.
Yeah, it was like 30.
It was 30.
It was 30.
And
This is per Hootsuite. So there are nobody, I'm gonna put it out there, nobody is the know all be all. This stuff is changing every day. Nobody controls, even though somebody may own this company and this company, it's crowdsourcing. The data is constantly changing. So I'm going to say right now, these are the numbers per Hootsuite. Next week, the numbers could be different.
Which means you have to be more specific and more...
Right. Laser focus.
Yeah.
so on Twitter, I put 3. What happened?
It's not too horrible. It's not. You're going to think so. This is us and anybody that was like reading this blog talking about it. I think there's a reason why there's 240 characters on Twitter, but just be very specific that you're on brand. So if you're thinking, if you have a picture on Twitter, you know that takes up a lot of characters. So then you have your so if you, instead of putting your hashtags at the end on Twitter, incorporate them into your content. So if you're sharing from LinkedIn to Twitter, which you all know that you can do, and you have hashtags on LinkedIn, and they're in like those first 2 sentences, you don't need to use those things for hashtags on Twitter because they're going to follow through. Which is like a really easy way if you don't have time to sit and look at Twitter. You do a post on LinkedIn, boom, send.
See, that's what I do from Instagram and Facebook or vice versa. So now Instagram, I only do 1 or 2 hashtags anyway.
Right.
I'm not very creative with my
My
hashtags.
problem is that I automatically have to Avon now, then I can't do any more.
You can. It's
Product.
just- yeah.
Product. I mean, I'm always, this is the coffee house, this is Fruit Cup, this is small business.
This is Food Cup.
This, this is Business Connects, this is Business Connects NJ, if I'm hosting it.
Okay.
For Joe Hudak down the street at Hudak Chiropractic, this might be something else, including nutrition. So, you know, everybody sees it different. Desiree would be talking about promotional products, you know, branding, marketing. So you have to be really specific, but it doesn't mean for every post you have to use the same tool. You know, you have to remember that not everybody's seeing your every post. You may have like followers, but if we're not those big companies that have millions of followers, then, you know, look at your analytics. Click through, look at them, look at your Twitter report.
Oh, and you can see who found your post based on the hashtags themselves on Instagram. I don't know about anyone else, but on Instagram you can click on your analytics and say, this is how many people saw your post from the hashtags. And if you're not seeing anything there, that means you don't have the right hashtags.
Oh,
So analytics is only if you have a business.
Business profile.
Right.
So for Avon, since it's huge, would you do better if you personalized it somehow? I don't know. I'm thinking,
Really?
well, I'm thinking if I'm following Avon, I'm going to get how many people are doing that, but if it's Jeannie's Avon or something like that.
Avon Martin.
I'm not creative, I'm just saying.
Jeannie, what is the name of your business?
Avon now.
Right, what do you use specifically? What hashtag do you use specifically?
I've been using Avon and Avon now, so I don't know.
Okay, but is the company Avon now, or is the
Yes.
company Avon?
Avon now.
Okay, so if somebody wants to find Jeannie Martin for Avon, they would literally need to know your name. So what we're getting to is that maybe it's, your website is Avon Now Jeannie Martin?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we want someone to find you specifically, I can throw my name in there.
Okay. Okay. It's like
Just
the same
saying.
with mine, it's a franchise. I never use cruise products. For lots of reasons. I've tried, I don't really want to focus on cruises. They're a hot mess right now. And I frankly, I'm so annoyed with them this week. I don't know if I ever want to sell another cruise. But it's also how many of the cruise planner agents will use that, including corporate. So I avoid it. I never use
Distinguish
it.
yourself from.
Yeah, you got to separate from the pack a little
Right.
bit, especially with a group like Avon.
It's huge. Yeah. So we're Business Connects, we're marketing, Secretary Central is digital marketing support, but not just, so like I said, digital marketing and marketing support. Because this is not digital marketing. If someone like the coffee house needed help, the small business, this is not online. This is in your face. So if they said, oh, Jen, I need help with my promoting an event on paper, this is marketing support and branding where I would connect with Desiree to do that. So knowing, keeping those hashtags in mind of promotional products. So we are virtual assistant services that with the niche for marketing support, because I just love talking about this stuff.
There's also fun stuff like if you have some extra hashtag room and it's like a Friday or something, you can put TGIF or something that's related to the day you're posting and people are all looking at, and it's something that people follow pretty frequently.
Right. So for an event, so you're going to an event. If you know you're going to an event, like share the social media love. Ask the people who are running the event, whether it's the promoter, the speaker, the venue. Do you have any specific hashtags you want me to use if you take a picture? So, I mean, we just looked and it's the coffee house, 931 Aboy Avenue, Edison, New Jersey. But when we go to Ray's, or when Jake does karaoke, so like we ask, when Paulina's doing a comedy show, like I want to ask her, what do you want me to use? Because it could be the wrong vibe of a hashtag. You're gonna be like, oh no, that's not who I am.
Or sometimes at special events like a wedding, they have a specific hashtag
Yes.
for the wedding so that all the pictures of the wedding get put in the same
Yeah,
place with the hashtag.
right.
So
Our daughter had her bat mitzvah years ago. She had a hashtag. We learned, and this is another fun tool, you can still do this. You can create posts. So like, let's say like on Facebook specifically, now you can do your posts for Instagram and you can schedule them. Oh, and oh my gosh, big news. We created an album and a hashtag, which I'm not going to tell you, but we created a hashtag specifically for her bat mitzvah that at the bat mitzvah we announced it, and then I made it public. Otherwise it was private only to me and in a private album. So then once we announced it, we said to everybody, please use this hashtag. So then everyone was like, oh, then she could find all the pictures that everybody took with their cameras. But I hope this is really, really, really new. Bless you. Yesterday, in case you didn't see it, go on your actual computer, go to Instagram, you can now post live from your computer.
Oh, really?
You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know that you can schedule, but we do stuff in Business Suite. So where you're setting up a calendar and you're like, oh, this is Monday, this is Friday, this is blah, blah, blah. So now you can do it here, or as, you know, some people say, oh, well, my fat thumbs, I can't do that the right way, or I can't see this thing. You do it on your computer, like live.
Can I ask a question about Instagram? Maybe Jake, you know this. Is there any? I have like this. I'm not going to call it business, like a side hobby on Instagram, but it's a personal page. Is there any downside to making it a business page?
It would probably only be a benefit because you can see the analytics on a business page versus on a personal page. You can't really see much. You can see how many people liked it, and how many people commented, but on the business one, there's specific analytics of this is how many people saw your post, this is how many people shared it to other people or saved the page itself. This is how many people found it through your hashtags, this is how many people found it through your homepage. If there's a website on there, it'll tell you how many click-throughs that went to your website. So you can really get more information from a business page rather than a personal page.
Yeah. Are you monetizing the hobby?
Yeah.
Then I would
Then
put a
definitely.
business page.
Yeah, if it was truly just a hobby,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love gardening, but I don't use it for business purposes, so I don't like talk about it except for personally. That may change someday. When the day comes, I might go back and change all those posts. So we talked about searching the hashtags. Jake touched on the insights.
Yeah, that's what that looks like.
Talking about impressions from home, from profile, from hashtags. And this is about Instagram. YouTube, as Flint was talking before, optimal hashtags used on YouTube, 2 to 3. But also remember that your text, your content on YouTube is searchable because social media and Google loves video. So when you do a video, you have your closed caption open. Also make sure that you're putting your related content that you're talking about, put those links inside the summary of the video and include, I don't know how many characters off the top of my head you have, but it's a lot. It's a lot. It's like a mini blog post. And that's all, supportive content. All right, so LinkedIn. Hootsuite says 1 to 2. I'm still using 3 on LinkedIn.
She's a rep.
And also Social Sales Link is doing a lot of data research, and they're telling me 3, so I'm still using 3 hashtags. Please, please, please don't send Instagram to LinkedIn. So 1, it fits, the size of the image now fits, but you don't want all those hashtags.
Sorry, another question.
Go
And I
for
think Gene asked this question, but I'm still not clear. If I'm on Instagram and I put 12 hashtags, does it throw off the algorithm or something? Is there an answer? Do we even know what happens?
It's just the optimal number.
Yeah, for search and for
You can
reach.
sure do
was
more.
overwhelming, I guess.
30
Yeah.
is just the
Yeah,
max
the-
they'll allow. They'll say you can't do more than this. And you have to delete something.
This is Hootsuite was saying for YouTube,
You said Instagram 5 to 10.
click on the okay. All right, so for Instagram, right, 5 to 10. YouTube purposes, just so I make sure that I say it, don't use more than 15 because YouTube will ignore all the hashtags and maybe even flag your content for spammy behavior. And if you have any questions about marketing for YouTube, ask our friend Flint because he's done an amazing job with that. Is anybody using pictures for marketing?
Thinking about
it.
it, I haven't updated it and refreshed it in quite a long time.
Okay.
I do have some things.
2 to 5 optimal hashtags, 2 to 5. And Pinterest is a search engine. They say think of Pinterest as a search engine. Use hashtags that are searchable, specific, and that contain relevant keywords. Don't use more than 20 hashtags in descriptions. And there is a link. I have a link. I will share this with you guys if you want it. Again, this was from Hootsuite blog, and I have a link to the full 15-page blog that they shared on their website. I do not take ownership of this content, but I do rely on Hootsuite for up-to-date information. If you have any other questions, hit me up.
Nice job.
Very good.